Hello.
Hello, everybody.
There were two, and now there's one. I'm assuming that's you watching.
I could probably, yeah.
I know Kay was there, but I don't know what happened. Oh, there she is.
I
I'm
see two
assuming that's
watching.
Kay.
I see two. Could be a hidden guest. You know,
It could be a hidden guest. That's right. It could be Mike. It could be Bev.
it could be
Uh,
someone just in the shadows. Could be a reflection of someone.
Wait a minute. I think I saw what you did there, Mike.
What I do
Something about a reflection of somebody.
that would reflect very poorly on me to do that.
I think I can see the point. Somehow I see it bouncing back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It could be
I don't have
see
any more
through.
puns on this.
There's only so many puns you could do about this. I can tell you. Holy jeez. Well, hello, folks, and for whoever is watching, I do have my comments up, so I will see you if you do make a comment. I'm not sure where Kay is, but maybe that's her. I don't know. Um, but if you're out there and you're joining us, that's great. Mike and Bev, if you happen to come on and see us, that's great too. And I don't know if actually Holly knows or not. I know we put it up there. I don't know if she saw the report. Normally she shows on later going, oh no, I missed it. So we'll see. I mean, I
Only
can
do so
probably send her
much.
messages if I'm on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook right now. So not letting me chat. Can you see or hear? But I can see and hear you. That's weird. Kay can't chat. Kay,
I don't know.
try logging out and logging back in again. Just close right out of the whole system and come back in again.
Yeah, kind of
Uh,
weird, eh?
Yeah, that sometimes does happen, and sometimes you just got to leave entirely to come back. I'm not sure why you can't leave comments. You should be able to leave comments. I mean, oh, there's Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hello, everybody.
No, I'm like, wait a
There she
minute.
is.
There she is. Now she's back. Now she said boo. Hello, Kay. We see you. And Kay, if you can happen to message Holly, let her know that we're on. Um,
Oh, we got three watching. Three watching. That's
yeah,
good.
it could be anybody. So guys, welcome back to Off the Cuff Paranormal. Mike, it's big because it's our first show in
4 weeks.
I'm gonna smack that guy. In 2024.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like I posted that somewhere. I think.
Well, it was a reflection of something.
Yeah. I like to look back and reflect often.
Oh, man. This is going to be one of these nights. Well, folks, today, and I think you probably saw that I did make a little statement to say what this show was going to be about. And I said that me and Mike were going to reflect on a few things.
Oh, yeah, look at that. You did say that.
Yes, but not exactly the way you think. Now, this whole show is one other person's fault. So anything or any rabbit hole that it goes down, you can absolutely 100% blame Kay.
Yeah.
That's right.
I see her. I'm blaming
Right?
her.
Right.
You. I'm blaming you. And the reason I'm pointing over here is because I can see all comments over here. So if you keep seeing
Well,
me look
I'm
this way,
pointing this. Well, I'm pointing that way because the comments are over here on me. But Kay goes, "What?"
what? Okay, to refresh your memory and to reflect back on a post that was made to, I believe it was the Faculty X page. It was about mirrors.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
I am the fairest one of all. We don't need to ask that though. And it's actually, funny thing is, it's not mirror, mirror on the wall. That was never said in that movie. It's actually magic mirror on the wall.
Variations of that, actually, because I do believe I just happen to have this on my computer. Let me look down over here.
I can look over here, so that way we're not even looking at each other.
What's right? It's let's see. No, it actually, you're right. It was never truly said, but it was said in multiple other, like there's other formats. But you are right. She did say magic mirror on the wall. But you know, I mean that is one big story all of its own. You know, the magic mirror on the wall. But I think, folks, we've got to go back. Now, Kay started this because she made a post about mirrors. And there's so many things in the paranormal that are tied to mirrors. I mean, I've seen it, I've heard it all the time.
Yeah.
I believe you probably have too, Mike.
Yeah, I've even dabbled with it a little bit, not too much, but yeah, I've heard it, and a lot of people have different variations on what they believe and don't believe. It's interesting, though. It is an interesting subject, and it's not really one that has any, you know, further proof one way or the other than anything else that's linked to the paranormal. It's an interesting item,
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah, yeah. And I think that I think we have to go back a little bit. Like, I mean, not just a little bit, but way back when we
Way.
look at the whole concept of mirrors, right?
Besides,
Um,
like actually, the purpose of a mirror, which is just to look at yourself, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Nowadays,
yes, I mean, people originally, that's true. Like, I mean, can I get a point? I mean, I look at myself all the time. I'm looking at myself right now. Mhm.
wow, you're pretty vain, aren't you? Look at me. Who's that
Good, well,
handsome fellow?
hey,
That's me.
good,
You go tackle
good.
the world. I will. You will too.
But you go way back to like, oh my Lord, 6,000 BC.
Pardon me. Wow, that's a long time ago.
That is a long time ago. And actually, the first mirror it was even before that, actually. If you looked at the first concept of the first mirror, it was actually water.
Wow.
That's where the reflection came from. People actually used bowls of water, and they would look in the bowl of water to get the reflection, or some type of basin of water or whatever to get the reflection. They look in a pond, they'd get the reflection.
Yeah.
Right? So it kind of all stemmed way back then, but did you happen to find out where it actually first kind of like really it came into an idea? Did you happen to find out?
Well, I mean, I've like there's varying things. Like I mean, you can go back to ancient Egypt. You can go back to the time of the Romans.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the idea between a mirror being haunted. Um, the Romans is one a really old one that comes up that I found, and yeah, I don't know what you found, but it can't, like
Well,
yeah.
don't know what I found.
I don't know what you
Um,
found, but I found that like again, we have to do some research for our shows. I call it research because it's pretty loosely based, but um, when we discussed talking about this subject about the mirrors, I wanted to look back and see how far back people started to think that mirrors could be haunted. I mean, you bring up the subject of looking into a pond. Even way back then, people thought that there was things in the water. So could that have started it even? Right? Like, could you imagine looking into a pond and seeing something and thinking that's your reflection? Well, no, that's actually an alligator or some weird animal.
looking a little scaly down there today. No doubt, no doubt. You know, but okay. So let's just go back a little bit. Okay, this is something I found. The first man-made mirrors, typically made of polished stone, like black obsidian, volcanic glass. stuff like that were made way back in Anatolia, which is basically right now modern day Turkey. Okay, and that's when supposedly they first really came out, and they've been dated all the way back to like 6000 BC. That's when, and that was mostly just like a polished stone that people would kind of put a handle in or something around, so people could actually see the reflection as best as possible. And there was actually, give me 1 second here. And you were right. You said it came back to the Egyptians, right?
Yeah, the Egyptians and the Romans.
Yeah, and the Egyptians and Romans made mirrors of metal, copper, bronze, silver, tin, etc., etc. And they did that, which kind of brought into even more stuff like stuff that the reflective qualities were far beyond what the rock or anything else ever could be, at least as far as that technology went. Now that being said, the first mirror, though, I mean, and it's funny. Do you know where the first glass mirrors came in to be?
First glass mirrors?
The first
No,
glass
I
mirror.
didn't look that up.
I got it.
Was it in England?
No, it wasn't actually. The first glass mirrors were made in the 1st century along the Mediterranean coast in the 3rd largest city in Lebanon called Sidon, Sidon. Okay.
Oh.
And they made the first glass mirrors as far as they can be tracked back in history, which is really kind of unique. And I thought that was really cool to find that. I never even knew that. I'm like, oh, I always thought it was like you thought. I always thought it was Europe, but no, it wasn't. It was Lebanon, which is like really interesting because you think, well, where are they? But I guess you do have the sand over there, don't you?
Well, yeah, because the process of making glass really is, heated sand.
Yeah, exactly. So these guys created the first actual glass mirrors, which it's interesting because it makes you wonder how far back it goes before it starts getting into. Because I mean I've noted, I guess, over time that although the concepts of mirrors having something to do with hauntings or anything like that really doesn't go as far back as one would think. I mean, it goes quite a ways back, but not.
It does go pretty far back, but yeah.
Yeah, not tremendously a long way back. I mean, I think one of the first ones that ever came out, and it wasn't even a glass mirror. I do believe it was called, and let me just see here if I got this right. I got to get it right. Give me a second. I read it earlier. It was an obsidian. It was an obsidian mirror.
Yeah.
Right. And it is actually now in the British Museum in London. It's polished on both sides and nearly perfectly circular, measuring about 7.2 inches by 18.5 centimeters in diameter and 0.5 inches, 13 millimeters thick, and weighing 31 ounces. Now that is actually called, I'm getting there.
Okay.
It's a black. Where did I see it? It's a black mirror. It was known as a black mirror. Now there was a guy back in the 16th century. He was a courtier, John Dee, for England's Queen Elizabeth I, of all people.
Yeah.
And he was involved in magic and the occult, and he tried to commune. He was the first guy that tried to commune with ghosts. That's pretty bizarre to have somebody at that rank doing that.
It's funny because throughout history, a lot of really prominent people have strong belief in the paranormal. So it's interesting, but not too surprising, actually, when you think about it.
Well, yeah, maybe not. I find it for back in the 16th century, I found it a little surprising, but I guess I shouldn't really because they were very strongly believed in, in those magics and because everything that they didn't understand really was kind of magical to them, wasn't it?
They were, because look, even with the Egyptians, they believed that when you were looking into the like a reflection, it was like looking into another world.
That is true. That is true, and it brings up a whole other realm of questioning when
It
you do
does.
that. But
When you're thinking about it being another world, that is another realm, Daryl.
that well that is true, and we will get there. But you are right. That is true. But do you know where this obsidian mirror actually came from that he was using?
No.
It actually came from. Now I'm going to say this: Pachuca, Mexico. It actually was brought from Mexico by ship over because somebody picked it up and brought it over to Europe for him to get his hands on it. So it's actually Aztec.
Which again does not overly surprise me. I mean, it kind of does, but not really. When you think about like what were the Aztecs and all the uh, natives from Mexico or even South America, what were they all into, right? Like with the whole pyramids as well. They
Yeah.
had their own pyramids and stuff, right? Like,
Oh yeah, and before the Egyptians,
exactly.
as far as my understanding goes.
So it's not overly surprising that something like that was kind of brought over. Like, did they think that back then they had magical powers over in Mexico?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's funny because I'd be more inclined to not be as much concerned about, breaking a rule like a tomb or something like that in Egypt compared to doing something with the Aztecs.
Yeah.
I think there's more there than ever meets the eye because, and this is just getting into a whole other realm of things. But if you look at the Aztecs, and you did say you look at the Aztecs, and they were, I think it was the Aztecs or the Mayans, one of the two, but they were very similar. They actually created the first, or somehow created the first, what was considered to be the first battery.
See, there's maybe this whole mirror thing. Maybe it is a link to another world, and every time you look in the mirror to brush your teeth or whatever, it's you're actually looking at another world of you.
There is a few, no, you're right though. There is a few concepts like that, and there's a few things like that. Now, I mean, I've always wondered this. Okay, so I've already worked that kind of thing into the mirrors thing because I'm like, when you mentioned it, the first thing that came to me, and I even read it. I even read it earlier tonight, and I thought, yeah, I already kind of knew that. But it's more than probably just okay. So hear me out. Okay, I'm going to move this in a little bit because this is the rabbit hole that I just have to go down. Um, when you look into a mirror, are you looking into another universe, another parallel dimension, or are you looking at the reality of what's actually around you? You see what I'm saying?
Well,
So
because like when you look at a mirror, everything is actually reversed. Like it's
everything,
not
okay, yes, everything is reversed. You're correct. Even
so
now,
it's not a true representation of your world because everything is backwards.
just like the camera, I'm pointing this way, but it's actually says I'm pointing that way.
Exactly. So even what we're doing is it's not a true reflection, right? Like I look at my screen and this, well, I guess that is over there. But anyways, my point being, it's screwed up.
Well, yeah,
So
but a mirror. Okay, my concept is a mirror shows facts. It shows facts and it shows truth. So when you're looking at a mirror and you're looking at everything around you, including yourself, can you actually physically look at a mirror and just see you? Or do you see everything that's connected? Like, do you see Okay, so they say that when a person looks into the mirror, they see not only themselves, but the reflection coming back to them is showing them their own soul. Because you cannot. Okay, have you ever heard of The Man in the Glass? The poem, The Man in the Glass?
No, I've only ever heard of like Bloody Mary.
No, and we'll get into that. Let me. Okay, so just
I know I'm jumping ahead, but no, I've never heard of the Man in the Glass.
Okay, give me a
Because,
second
like,
here.
you know,
Okay.
if I'm looking in a mirror and I'm brushing my teeth, you know, at bedtime, I'm not really looking at my soul. I'm looking. I don't know. I'm kind of just watching myself go through the motions. Yeah, there I am brushing my teeth.
Okay, so let me just go in and actually open this and where did it go? Uh-oh. Is it? No. Oh.
This
Yes.
is really edgy your seat sort of stuff here.
Yeah, no, no. I'm just opening this. Okay, so just to read this to you, okay? The Man in the Glass. When you get what you want, oh, for Pete Pucker's sakes, what happened? Okay, hang on a second. I gotta pause it. Yeah. So when you get what you want in your struggle for self and the world makes you king for a day, then go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what the man has to say. For it isn't a man's father, mother, or wife whose judgment upon him must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts most in life is the man staring back from the glass. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear to the end, and you've passed your most dangerous, difficult test. If the man in the glass is your friend, you can fool the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass, but the final reward will be heartache and tears if you cheated the man in the glass.
Huh.
Right? And I thought that poem was just like it hit really close to home for me because I was looking at this going, that it's true that the mirror does show what you don't necessarily want to see, what we don't necessarily want to see, right? So it shows everything else, even though it's flipped.
Yeah.
It shows facts. So is what you're looking at, and this gets back to your point, is what you're looking at just a reflection, or is it much more than that?
Wow, that's deep.
I did tell you it was a rabbit hole, didn't I?
The mirror never lies, Kay says.
Yeah, absolutely. You are absolutely true. And that poem does say that. Okay, you're absolutely right. The mirror never lies.
Yeah.
But is that actually true? So,
Well, I
okay.
mean, no, it doesn't lie because if you look in the mirror, no matter what disguise you put on, you know underneath that disguise it's still you.
Yes, you're true. So it never lies to what you're seeing. But here's the thing. Mirrors had various backings over the years.
Yeah.
Whether it was tin, silver, copper,
Yeah.
whatever, right? It always had a reflective backing so you could actually get the reflection through the glass. I remember being on a train car at a location one time, and we caught on camera some really weird anomalies in the mirror.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure it out. We're like, why are we getting these? I went back later and I checked out, and the mirror was old enough that it still had the original copper backing on the mirror.
Well, that's cool.
And that copper backing was actually starting to turn green because it gets oxide, it goes green.
Yeah.
And you're actually seeing green fluctuations through the mirror when certain lights and reflective angles hit the mirror, creating really odd, weird things in the video, which is pretty cool.
That
But
is
you don't
really
get
cool.
that anymore.
Nope. But also,
Why?
could you imagine like someone like just looking at that and not realizing what was going on, and all of a sudden like they see like green in their skin, right? Not in a current day and age, but like say 200 years ago, before they really understood what the hell was going on. I mean, I don't know how long they've known about oxidization of copper, but you know.
Exactly. Slimer was around a lot longer than we think.
Better call Egon.
You better call Egon. Kate just said they say the eyes are the looking glass to the soul, to one soul, a looking glass being a mirror. Yeah, you're right, Kay. That is true too. So there are those aspects to the older mirrors and stuff like that that could cause people to see different things. Maybe see something in the mirror. And I was reading earlier that there was and I can't remember the actual name of it. I'd have to look it up. And I think it's down here. It was called the perceptual effects, Toxler's fading, and apophenia. They're different things like, how we see that things out of the corner of our eyes, but they're not really there.
Yeah.
It's the same concept when you look into the mirror, right? You're seeing things because, especially if you're pulling off, and you mentioned it earlier, Bloody Mary. So tell us a little bit about Bloody Mary.
Well, I mean, Bloody Mary. Oh my God. Okay, I gotta scroll down to my Bloody Mary thing. Where did it go? There it is. I think. Hang on. You'd think I'd have it all prepared before we start all this, but no, that's not how I roll.
Yeah, I got all prepared in 45 minutes.
Okay, so basically, right? I mean, without finding it because I can't right now all of a sudden, but because there's actually mostly a variation on this too. There's different ways of doing it because depending on who told you how to do it, but it's you're supposed to go into a bathroom or a room with a mirror and say her name. I believe it's 3 times, and then turn off the lights, or do it vice versa, turn off the lights, then say her name, then turn on the lights, and then she's supposed to be in the mirror.
Supposedly.
Yes, and it's who she is, what she is. I mean, I've never even been told what she's even supposed to look like. Is it supposed to be Mary, Queen of who knows what?
Well, yeah, you're right. One could be Mary the First of England.
Yeah,
and I can tell you why. She would.
Basically, you're not supposed to look directly at her, but only through the mirror in order to avoid harm or death.
Well,
that's what
that
one variation.
That depends on all the variations. There's a bunch of variations to her. And you're right. She could appear as friendly or malevolent, depending on what you do. Now, there is a part of this Bloody Mary that originally, when it was done, originally the concept actually stemmed from, they had a lady that was about to get married. She'd take a candle in a dark room. She'd walk backwards up the stairs and then actually go into a dark room, turn around holding a mirror and supposedly looking in the mirror with the candle and stuff like that. And she would see a reflection. And if she saw the reflection of the husband, then she was going to get married. But if she saw a reflection of a skull or a Grim Reaper, then it was said that she would die before she ever married. Now, I'm sorry, but are you going to ask your daughter or whatever to walk backwards with a candle up a dark hallway and then look in the mirror and ask?
My daughter would probably do that. Just saying, she probably would.
God, just for the halibut, right?
Oh yeah, just for the halibut.
But you're right, and yeah, just to take it a little step further for you, Mary the First of England, who had around 300 religious Protestant dissenters burned at the stake during her reign, earning her the nickname Bloody Mary. Elizabeth Bethany, a 17th century Hungarian countess who allegedly burned at the stake during her reign, earned the nickname. She also earned a nickname. Sorry. No, she didn't. She burned Elizabeth Bethany, 17th century Hungarian countess who allegedly tortured and killed around 660 girls and women, bathed in their blood, and was accused of vampirism, so it could take after her. And Mary Worth, who had been identified as either a woman who, as a woman who killed slaves escaping from the American South in the Underground Railroad. So there was three of them that people say Bloody Mary could be. Now, here's the thing. Have you ever put it to the test?
Not in recent memory. I seem to think I might have tried it when I was a teenager. But did I do it properly? Probably not. And by properly, it's because there's so many variations on the rules.
Yeah, well, some say you're supposed to count like 13 times.
Exactly, right?
I mean, I'm sorry. I'd be like, oh, Bloody Mary, and you'd just be counting it, right? Like,
yeah.
But,
so I seem to remember doing it, and like, of course, you're like, did you see something? No. That's not my ugly mug, but that's about it. That's scary enough.
Oh my God, Bloody Mike! Ah! Oh my dear.
Going back to the whole, it is said that mirrors do not lie. I just found a really fascinating thing here, because of that. Therefore, a very well-known superstition claims that when something which does not exist is reflected in front of the mirror, it is a bad sign. Newborn children must not see themselves in the mirror until they reach the age of 1. In the respective time interval, the soul is undergoing development, and the child would end up dying. So, should he be reflected in a mirror?
Whoa! Really?
Yeah, it's a superstition. But like anything, there's got to be some sort of backstory to it, right? So, where does that come from? It's kind of interesting, but I'm like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that stand in the mirror with their baby. So I don't know.
It's plausible, I guess. I mean, that would make sense. You're in the bathroom. Your baby's going to see the mirror.
Yeah. But does the baby understand like what the baby is seeing? I mean, obviously, a 1-year-old will never know, but we've all been there, but we don't have any memory of that.
That is true. That is true. I don't know. I mean, I've looked at mirrors at investigations, and I've seen glimpses of things in mirrors that I can't 100% explain by saying, hey, I know what that was. But then again, I also cannot say I know what it wasn't, because like, you're kind of sitting there going, okay, I'm in a house, windows are open, vehicles are going by. Was it just a glitch? What is it?
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen things in mirrors that I have to question. But then I've also gotten a mind's eye looking in the mirror, because me and what I get sometimes of looking in the mirror and actually, saying I know what's in the mirror, but without actually physically seeing it. So I don't put a lot of credit into the whole whether a mirror can be haunted or not, or what it really shows. But I do believe that it shows, like I said before, I do believe it shows, more of a truth than what anybody's ever willing to really admit or see, because just a mirror shows what it is, right?
Unless it's one of those fun house mirrors.
Well, yeah. Then I look a lot more overweight than I already am. Geez, I mean,
or skinnier. I like the skinny ones. I always stand sideways to those ones and go, yeah.
Okay, said when someone dies in the UK, we would cover mirrors, nor have two mirrors face each other. There is those two. Okay, we have some of that too. I think, Mike, you
Yeah.
put a list together, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, oh my God. Okay. So, okay. Let me go. Let me go here. Hang on. Broken mirrors. We all know about broken mirrors, right?
Broken mirrors. Yeah.
So the superstition is when you break a mirror, you will receive 7 years of bad luck.
Okay, hold it. I'm going to stop you right there. When I was in Port Moody, I was doing a demo thing. And do you remember those like 7-row bifold mirrors the store used to have?
Yeah.
Well, I had one of those leaning against the drywall. I was on the opposite side trying to break the drywall out. Needless to say, I kicked them over. All 7 broke. Now, I think I'm well past that line, but I don't remember that much bad luck coming to me.
I don't know. Okay, so this is where it all came from. If you want to know where it all started.
Okay.
Ancient Rome.
Ammo Romans.
Ancient Roman culture believed that the soul regenerated every 7 years. They thought that mirrors reflected not only your physical appearance, but your soul as well, just like we discussed.
Yeah.
So essentially, you were waiting for an entirely new soul to rid yourself of the bad luck.
Well, hang on a second. 7 times 7 is crap.
49. So you got a lot of waiting.
It's no wonder people say I have an old soul, because the new one's like years down the friggin' line, man. Years down the friggin' line.
Where is Darryl 2.0? I've been waiting a while, man. Come on.
I like K. You are screwed.
You're screwed.
No doubt.
What's
Okay.
another one here? German and Dutch culture had a more eerie belief. If you think this is more eerie, I don't know. But if you saw your reflection after a loved one had passed, this was an omen that you were going to be the next one to pass.
That honestly goes kind of with that whole what's the other one? It's almost similar to like the whole theory about seeing your doppelganger.
Doppelgangers, yeah.
Yeah. If you see that, supposedly you're either going to pass or die or whatever, and But I mean, I don't know. So you're saying if somebody died and you see their reflection in the mirror?
If you saw your reflection after a loved one had passed.
Well, what happens if you go into the bathroom after the funeral?
That's what I'm wondering. Like,
well, you know what? I mean, what? Do they take all the wait a minute. I know. They probably take the mirrors out of the bathrooms in the funeral home because they don't want any of this shit to happen, right?
It's got to be it. I mean, it doesn't give any context, like how much time has to pass before you can look at yourself in the mirror. Because, like, like you said, you go to the bathroom, you go home, you go to bed, you get ready for bed, you see your reflection. Oh, that's it. I'm next to go. Like, there's got to be more context to it. It's just,
Well, did you ever see that YouTube video of the little Asian girl sitting in the mirror? It always freaked me out.
Yes.
And she turns and looks back, but the one in the glass does not move, and her eyes are like pitch black.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man.
There's another one going around. Just even today, I saw one. It's on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. And a girl, she kind of leans up to a mirror and she's smiling and whatever. And in the reflection, the girl does the same thing, but then her eyes like look away, and then the smile goes away, and then she freaks out. Like,
yeah, it's
like, okay, is it real? I would like to know more about it. Is it just her twin, perhaps, leaning against a piece of glass? Like, but of course, it just creeps you out when you think about it.
Yeah, is it AI? Like, what? But you're right. It's absolutely creepy. When I first saw that other one, I'm just like, like literally, it was like It was like, oh my God. I mean, what a K rate. A certain investigation we were on where a suicide had taken place in the bathroom. Some found it very hard to look in the said mirror.
Yeah,
Is
I remember
this
that.
the place that I had the experience about, Kay? Is that the one you're referring to?
I
It's the only one I can think of.
I'm just thinking of it's the. Did you have an experience there? I don't remember.
No, no. Okay, so you remember not in the mirror, no, but do you remember when I was at home? Yeah, the lady with the pink dress. Do you remember when I was at home and I got the
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
anyway, yeah, she's saying I think that because she said the lady in the pink dress. So yes, it's the same place. No, I've never actually had the experience there, but can you tell us who had the experience? I mean, we don't want to name the place, do we? But
No.
yeah. But yeah, there is. I guess there's tattoo, but how much of that was influenced by the plausibility of knowing what happened,
Hmm.
right? That's what I'm wondering. So I'm wondering how many events happen with mirrors that actually tie you back to actually knowing, right?
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, we're along your list there, Mike.
Okay. So Chinese culture tells us that if you carry a dead body, okay, stay with me here.
Just a minute.
Yep. And you carry it past a mirror, that person you're carrying would become a ghost.
I'd be more concerned that the thing would turn its head and look in the mirror as I was walking by.
Well, it says this doesn't sound too bad until you think about the fact that they'd never be at peace, haunting you forever.
Well, because they'd be a ghost in the mirror.
Yeah.
They're trapped in the mirror. Oh, I see.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's just a creepy thought.
But
Okay,
again,
well,
how many times have you carried a dead body past a mirror?
this is why they always tell you wrap it.
Right. I always forget that.
I mean, come on, like the mafia knows they wrap it for a reason, right? I don't
I
want
thought
to be
that's because
ghosts.
it just makes it easier to sink to the bottom of the river where they drop you.
Well, that's true too. And you don't want them seeing their face in the river, or the river becomes haunted, right?
Exactly. See, you get it.
God. Oh, it was Kay who had the experience. Ah, I
I
see.
hated it
Actually,
because
I
of
never
the
went in there and looked
yeah.
in the mirror, Kay, but next time I'll have to.
I mean, we all did. Um, Actually, did I ever look in the mirror? I don't think I ever did.
Now that would be one. That would be one to go in and ask who to show themselves.
Yeah, I mean, because I only once on investigation have I ever done an EVP session looking into a mirror, and no, nothing happened. But I had it set up on the floor. I was sitting on the floor. I had it set up in front of me. Everyone else was behind the mirror, so it was only me with between like me, mirror, everyone else. And the mirror was my reflection, but also a hallway behind me.
Oh, lovely.
So, and it was a dark hallway. So I was asking questions into the mirror, but looking around in the mirror to see if I was like, can you show me yourself in the mirror?
I just had a vivid picture of hmm. Now, was it a hallway or just like a door opening to a hallway?
I was kind of inside of a doorway, like it was like a room and a long hallway outside of the room.
This wasn't a business, was it?
No.
Okay. All right. I'll have to come back to that one later.
But
Just
that's the
something
only
I'm visualizing.
yeah, that's the only time I ever did it, and I never saw anything in the mirror. Definitely got some cool EVPs, but I never saw anything in the mirror.
Hmm. What did Kay write?
Pardon me?
What the hell did psych? Whoa, psychomontium? Psychomentium? Psychomentium? Wait a minute. I know. Psychomentium. The mirror disappeared.
Leviosa.
There you go. He goes, uh-oh.
All of a sudden we start levitating.
Hey, you're stuck in the mirror now.
Oh no. We're stuck in our phones.
Exactly. No.
I'm in a box.
Okay, on to your next.
Covering mirrors.
Well, they actually say you should cover a mirror when you go to bed. If it's in your room.
Yeah. I don't have a mirror in my room.
Kay says Google it. I'll Google it, Kay, all right.
Yeah. No, I don't have a mirror in my room, but I do have a TV, and a TV is a form of a mirror when it's shut off.
Yeah, true, but I've never had an issue with a mirror. It's not a true mirror. It's just a screen that happens to be slightly reflective, but I don't think I've ever had an issue with a TV in a room. But then again, I've never really had. Well, I've had mirrors in the room, but they've never they usually are on the back of the door, so you can't really see them.
Yeah.
But they're saying you shouldn't have them at the end of the bed. So, in other words, if they're at the end of the bed, at the foot of the bed, or on the ceiling, if you're that kind of person, don't whatever you do, try to cover them up.
Well, the place I lived in before I live now, but I've lived here a long time. The bedroom that I had was basically a wall of closeted mirrors. So, and you had to look at it like that's all you saw when you got out of bed was your room. Yeah. So,
well, they say it's before before you go to sleep, not when you wake up. I mean, when you wake up, they want you to see yourself because you want to go, God, I need a shower and a shave.
Yeah, that's scary enough. You're like, I don't look like that. Look like some sort of frog without clothes on.
Kay said, I think Amy would cover the mirror in her grandparents' room, if I'm correct. I have no idea, Kay.
Yes. I mean, I don't think Amy's on watching, but if she is, I believe she's told me the story, but I can't remember. So, because Amy's had a lot of, oh my God, stuff happen. So, but no, getting back to the whole covered mirrors. So one of the better known it's a superstition, but better known superstitions is if a loved one dies in their home, you need to cover the mirrors. And this is important because if you don't, their soul could wander around and get trapped inside a mirror. There are multiple variations on this superstition from all around the world. They even covered the mirrors in the White House when Abraham Lincoln died.
I think I noted that in passing when I was reading something. That's pretty interesting that they actually went to that degree. That's actually really interesting. Maybe one goes to the White House.
Carrying on with the covered mirrors, this one's kind of far-fetched, but it says covering the mirrors in a home to protect the living and the dead. It is believed that demons are attracted to homes where tragedy has recently struck, like a bad luck magnet.
Say that again.
So it is a belief that demons are attracted to homes where tragedy has recently struck.
Through the mirror.
Through the mirror.
Then you're getting in the whole concept of portals.
Yes, I mean, we've kind of been, on the verge of crossing over.
I wish I could do that too, but it won't let me. Anyway, someday I'm going to ask them, hey, let the main guy do it. Yeah, let the main guy do that too. Oh my God. I'm going to have to email them and say, why can't I do that? That's a mirror thing. But I don't know. I don't think we have time to get into portals, but I mean, there are a lot of things that can be, and mirrors, I guess, are one of them that has said that they can be. I was just going to actually say that, Kate. Two mirrors facing each other create portals. I've heard. That's where she goes. I've heard that one. I've heard of that, but I've never ever seen it. And if I have seen it, there's no way to prove it.
I've never even tried putting two mirrors face to face.
No, I think it'd be really, because you just see mirror after mirror after mirror after. I've seen them in a closet. You go walk in a hallway and there's like two sliding mirrors. And I've looked at it, it's just mirror, 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 lots of meat.
I guess it's kind of like also, like when you go again to the whole funhouse thing, where the house of mirrors,
Yeah.
where you're like walking, and all of a sudden you're like walking to a wall or a mirror, and you're like, nope, that's not it, and oh, nope, that's not it. And it's like, where the hell am I going? I hate those, by the way, but that's really all I could think of. I have seen a supposedly haunted mirror in person.
Am I allowed to know where?
Las Vegas.
Oh, did you go to? Oh, that was at what's his name's haunted museum, wasn't it?
It was. I've been to the that guy's haunted museum.
That guy.
That guy.
We can
Zach
say his
Baggins.
name.
Zach Baggins, haunted museum in Las Vegas. He has Bela Lugosi's haunted mirror in his possession.
And did you look at it?
I did.
And did you see Bella?
No.
Hmm.
I felt nothing. I saw a mirror that looked really nice, because when you first walk in and you get the whole backstory, and it's actually, they have it with a cloak over it, and then the tour guide says, okay, I'm going to now reveal, and everyone can have their turn looking into it. All I can say, and I don't know if it had anything to do with it being 40 plus degrees out when I saw it, but I would say my heart started to race a little bit. Just a little bit.
Now, could that be knowing the backstory?
Probably, and because of the fact of what I do.
Well,
right?
True.
And all the stuff I had seen leading up to that, which was only about halfway through the tour.
Oh, okay.
So it could have been a whole combination of things. But I have, when they, purportedly say it's a haunted mirror and the backstory, and it is famous, and it's, look it up. But yeah, so yeah.
I got. If you got time, I got two stories for you. Two real quick stories.
Okay.
Okay. The first one's called Twisted Inversions. Okay. Years ago, while at a cookout with his family, a gentleman named Juan heard a chilling tale about a haunted mirror from his cousin in Veracruz, Mexico. One day, Juan's cousin and a friend of his were shopping in an antique store when he came across a large Victorian style mirror. The mirror was incredibly ornate with a brushed silver frame. Juan's cousin was drawn to it immediately and asked the shop if he could buy it. The shop owner told him the price, but seemed a little edgy afterward. He told Juan's cousin, that if he wished to purchase the mirror, that he must make sure that it is always covered by some kind of heavy cloth after the sun goes down. Juan's cousin found the man to be a bit quirky, but nevertheless promised that he would do so as the owner bid. He purchased the mirror and drove it home in the back of his truck. He arrived home in the early evening after he found a place to put the mirror in his bedroom. He admired his reflection after a few minutes. He then promptly covered it with the bedsheet. He felt a little silly doing so, but the shop owner had been so adamant. Dusk approached. Juan's cousin was relaxing on the couch when he began to hear a steady knocking sound, as though someone was at the door, but nobody was. Puzzled, he wandered through the house, tracking the noise until he got to his bedroom. Chills ran down his spine as he realized the knocking sound was coming from within the mirror. Slowly, he grabbed the bedsheet by the corners and pulled it off the mirror. Inside the mirror was his reflection. But a reflection that moved entirely on its own. Juan's cousin watched in horror as his mirror self slowly knocked on the glass surface with an eerie, leering smile on his face. He moved to cover the mirror back up, but his reflection somehow managed to grab him and attempt to pull him into the mirror itself. This surreal violence had Juan's cousin paralyzed with fear. He fought to free himself, but his reflection was too strong. He was partially pulled into the mirror. His fear escalated 10 times over when he peered around within the mirror. He saw his bedroom, but everything was inverted backwards. Juan's cousin began to pray, and only then did he find the strength to free himself from the mirror. He fell to the floor, immediately ran out of the house and ran down the street to his friend's house and stayed there until the morning. Too terrified to return to his home, when the sun rose, he and his friend grabbed the mirror and burnt it, and never anything happened ever again. So, you ever run into a mirror that looks and you're really drawn to it? Think twice before buying it. And there's only one other story I'm going to read really quick.
Okay.
This is a short one. All right. Where is it now? Hang on a second. Okay. And Kay actually might know some of this. Greg Newkirk. Hang on a second. Well, that's not the one I want. Family spirits. Most people have a deep interest in the paranormal. In the paranormal, I've heard about the infamous Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana, built in 1796. The house is,
I indeed have heard of it.
The house has become known as being one of the most haunted historical locations in the South. But what some people may not realize is that within its haunted house lays a haunted mirror. In the hallway across from a large wooden staircase is a large rectangular mirror with a gilded gold frame. The mirror has been within the house for well over 2 centuries, and many eerie stories have surfaced about it. According to one story, Sarah Bradford Woodruff, who lived in the house along with her husband and children during the 1920s, haunts the house and is said to be permanently trapped inside the mirror. Tourists who take a picture in front of the mirror often find strange anomalies in the photographs, creepy-looking shadows, and an array of orbs. Some people can claim that they have seen fingerprints and silvery apparitions standing in the staircase reflected within the mirror surface. Some people believe the mirror shows nothing but ordinary reflections, but there are countless accounts, believers and skeptics alike, who have seen something paranormal in its ancient surface. Today, the Myrtles Plantation is open to tours and also serves as a bed and breakfast. If you decide to visit, be sure to have your photograph taken in front of the mirror, and be warned, you may not like what you see. I had to get those 2 stories in.
I love it.
But that would be that it goes to show there's so many things tied to mirrors. Kay goes, I think Taps investigated that. It's the silvering on the back of the mirror. Is it though, the silvering on the back of the mirror though, Kay? Like literally, is it? You have to think about that for a minute. If you take a picture, is it? I mean, a flash, maybe. Sunlight, maybe. You know, I gotta say, it's a plausibility, but does it answer all the questions?
I think it satisfies questions for a lot of people.
I think it satisfied a lot of people, and I would have to admit, but I would still want to go back there with a camera and all different types of cameras and try to take a bunch of pictures and see, you know, I mean, if you could set the camera up in the same spot over and over and over and over and over again and take the same picture repeatedly over a day or over a week or whatever, and nothing changed, and you capture something, then you have to start questioning what's going on.
Yeah.
Because no angles have changed, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, but that's my opinion. Do you have anything else to touch on before we move along there, Mike? And because we're pretty well already at the end of our show.
We are at the end of our show, and you know what? I'm in no hurry to go upstairs and brush my teeth before bed. Road trip. Kay wants to go on a road trip down to the Myrtles Plantation in where was that again? So was that
Louisiana?
Louisiana. I would love to go to Louisiana.
You can go for a. I'd love to if I could afford it. I'd love to.
Right.
You could go for ghost hunting and gumbo.
Oh. Man, Darryl, if money wasn't an object.
There you go.
You got my 2 favorite G words right there.
Ghost and gumbo. All you need is a haunted gumbo house. There you go. You're set.
I'm set. That's it. Ghost and gumbo.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my God. Well, folks, guess what? Okay. It's 9:00. So on behalf of myself, Darryl,
Gumbo loving Mike.
Loving Mike. Who knows? Maybe we'll get down to Louisiana. Maybe we can make it a whole group trip. But either way, guys, wish you well. If you happen to watch this later, hey, fantastic. Either way, hope you enjoyed the show. And from both of us, good night. And we'll see you next time in 2 weeks. Bye-bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.
All right.